Hey guys, it's Neha Joy for the Hollywood Reporter News, and today I'm here with THR writer and Game of Thrones expert Josh Wigler, who's going to break down his predictions on what we can expect leading into Sunday night's Game of Thrones series finale. Josh, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I can't believe 2 days away as we're talking about this, Game of Thrones is almost over. But it's clearly building to a pretty tragic ending right now.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, we have so much to talk about because we're coming off of last week's episode, which ended on such a crazy and intense note.
Yeah.
We had Daenerys essentially burn down all of King's Landing, possibly not becoming the Mad Queen.
Yeah, it's hard to. She's at least angry.
Yeah.
I think that she's pretty furious. We can tell.
Right now, we're in a place of where do we go from here?
Totally. It feels like there's still a lot to be resolved, and it feels like Game of Thrones really dramatically shifted in this really important way with one of its signature, traditionally heroic characters who has now, to borrow a term from another show, she's broken bad. She's kind of had her big moment where, whether you want to say she's snapped or she's just decided that this is the type of queen I'm going to be, whatever you want to say, it has had very bad results for thousands of people in King's Landing. Where the Lannister twins are gone, Jaime and Cersei. Yeah. There's so much to unpack from this episode that I feel like we haven't said that out loud enough. That Cersei Lannister is dead, Jaime Lannister is dead.
Yeah.
So it's just there's been a pretty significant shift in where the story is at right now, and only 80 minutes to resolve that does leave you wondering, like, where is this gonna go? How are they gonna wrap this all up in such a short amount of time?
I think another question that's really big on everyone's mind is what we talked about with Daenerys. Is she now the Mad Queen? And if she is, does that make her the show's next or final villain?
When you look back on Daenerys' arc with the benefit of knowing where she has at least currently wound up, there's a roadmap to it. It feels a little sudden for a lot of people, myself included, quite frankly. But I think that they had laid track for it. I think you look back at some of Dany's conquests and some of the ways in which she dispatched some of her enemies along the way, and often she's really, really ruthless. There's definitely been a lot of killing from a lot of different people on this show, so she's not unique in that. But the way in which she would end the people who were in her way was often rather dramatic and sometimes pretty savage. And I think it's going to be a little bit hard to sell some empathy for Daenerys after she has just committed mass murder. But we do know her so well, and we know what was at stake for her, and we've been on an emotional journey with her. THR TV critic Dan Feinberg, we do a weekly column, and he posited a great idea that maybe she returns to exile the way that she had started the series. I think one of those two makes a lot of sense to me, but it's hard for me to imagine any kind of ending that's happy for Daenerys.
Yes.
For the
And it was a big twist for everyone, even characters in the show.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to bring in Jon Snow.
Yeah.
He was someone that had defended Dany from the very beginning of the season, even towards the end of last season. She defended her actions, her decisions. This is not something that he can justify. This goes against everything that he stands for. And you could even see the shock in his face during the last episode when she's burning the entire city down. How is he gonna handle her?
Not well.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be pretty upsetting. But a lot of the early immediate aftermath of Daenerys deciding to burn everybody is rooted in Jon, who is this guy who has been reconciling with who he really is. He finds out at the beginning of the season that he's the heir to the Iron Throne, that everything that he knew about himself, turns out he really did know nothing. And even throughout it all, even knowing that that is his birthright, he wants nothing to do with it. He's the person with the greatest claim to power in all of Westeros, and he has no interest in it whatsoever. He just wants Daenerys to be happy. He wants Daenerys to win. He believes in her, even as there are signs that are starting to pile up that maybe he shouldn't be believing in her the way that he has. I think that this is a point of no return for him. I think with 80 minutes left to go, he's really going to have to reckon with who Dany became.
And where does Tyrion come into play in all of this? Because he was another one that had really been gunning for Dany from the very beginning. So how is he going to sort of handle this reckoning of who she's become? And also there's the fact that he lost both of his siblings too.
Right. Yeah, Tyrion's the last Lannister. Last Lannister standing. I think he's going to be okay. I think that there was a time where I was really worried and concerned about where the show might be taking Tyrion ultimately. And maybe some of those concerns have bared out. He hasn't seemingly made like a good decision in several seasons. Every strategic choice he makes seems to be the wrong one. But I do think that his heart has been in the right place all along the way. You know, he sells his friend out in this most recent episode. He betrays Varys, but he does it because he really does still truly believe in Daenerys. And I think, like Jon Snow, there's no way Tyrion can emerge from this past episode believing in Dany anymore. He was the one who was really trying to convince her to take mercy on King's Landing, and she completely disobeys what it was he asked for. I'm ultimately not that nervous for Tyrion, but the little thing that does cause me some alarm is in this past episode, Daenerys says, the next time you wrong me, the next time you make a mistake, it will be the last time. And I think maybe 8 minutes after that in the episode, he releases Jaime Lannister from jail. So if Daenerys is ever going to catch wind of that, what kind of damage, what kind of blowback does Tyrion suffer for that, especially with Dany in the mode that she is in right now? So I think that there will be a little bit of danger for Tyrion, but I think he'll ultimately escape. We can't lose Tyrion, right?
They have to give us something.
Somebody's got to live. Somebody's got to have a happy ending.
We're rooting for.
I think so, yeah.
The end of the episode had this sort of beautiful imagery of Arya riding off towards Winterfell, we're assuming, on this white horse. Is that symbolic of anything? And is that going to foreshadow anything that's going to come in the finale?
Heading into this season, I really thought that we would lose Arya. I thought that Arya would die because I think that she's somebody who is universally beloved. I think that she's one of the Game of Thrones characters who everybody can agree upon as like, that is a cool person. And along the way this season, she kills the Night King. She stops the White Walker War. That's still crazy to me.
And because of that, I was like, there's no chance she's going to survive the penultimate episode.
That's what I was thinking too, was that there's sort of this, her stock has never been higher, so watch it plummet. Like that's the classic Game of Thrones gut punch. And I'm really glad that I was wrong. Still one episode to go, and there's still opportunity for danger, but I actually think that Arya's gonna be okay. So I think when she's getting on that horse at the end of the episode, there's some people who think that maybe she's on her way to vengeance. Maybe she's gonna try and, get one over on Daenerys. Maybe she'll be the person who not only killed the ice monster in episode 3, but she's gonna kill, the fire side of the equation. I think that she's just gonna go live her life. I think that Arya is gonna have a fairly peaceful ending, and I'm really surprised by that if that's how it ends up, but happy by it as well.
One of the big unanswered questions throughout the series is Azor Ohai, the prophecy of the prince that was promised. That was something that was discussed multiple times throughout the series, but it's not something that we really got any clarity or closure on. Is that something that you think that they're finally going to answer in the finale?
I think that the way that they resolved the White Walker piece of the series strongly suggests to me that Game of Thrones, the show, cares a whole lot less about prophecy than maybe we do as fans, and maybe people who have read the books that the show is based on, A Song of Ice and Fire. George R. R. Martin really puts that up front and center.
Because I feel like the prophecies were a lot more heavy-handed in the books than it was in the series.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that for better and for worse sometimes, the show is a lot more meat and potatoes. I don't know that there is going to be any kind of one hero who fully saves the day. I guess you can make the argument that was Arya, in killing the Night King. But I think a lot of people expected that it would be Daenerys or it would be Jon Snow.
So we have the most obvious question that we need answered now. Who do you think is gonna win the Game of Thrones and take the Iron Throne?
Yeah, I think that there's very likely somebody who's going to be in charge of the Seven Kingdoms. I think that could be Tyrion. I think that some version of Tyrion ruling the South, Sansa ruling the North, or the two of them, rekindling their marriage and ruling together, I think is something we could see in the series finale. But I think the Iron Throne will probably be out of it. Whether that's because Daenerys has already basically destroyed King's Landing, and maybe in some of the dragon fire, it's possible maybe she ruined the Iron Throne. Maybe it's already gone. Or maybe Jon Snow will defeat her or dethrone her, and I have seen a lot of popular theories out there that like his first act as king would be like, so I'm not king anymore and the Iron Throne is done. This is not a thing that's going to be, moving forward anymore. And that would be really cool. I think that would be probably the right ending for the series, is some version of that where the Iron Throne doesn't exist anymore.
Does not exist.
Yeah.
All right, so we know that the internet definitely loves to talk, and there's a lot of thoughts and theories that they have out there. So we're gonna play a game with you right now, and it's called Game of Theories.
All right, I like
So
theories.
we scoured the internet and we found a whole bunch of theories that range from valid to possibly absolutely ridiculous about what's gonna happen in the finale. And you need to tell me whether it's definitely gonna happen, possibly might happen, or never in a million years.
Okay, I love that I have a middle road option.
All right, so let's play Game of Theories.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Theory number 1. The Night King and the Army of the Dead are going to come back.
The Night King is dead. Everyone that we saw die totally died. But the first time we ever saw the Night King was because one of the White Walkers was bringing him a baby to turn into another White Walker. It's not impossible that White Walker daycare exists, and those babies are toddlers now, or getting close to bar mitzvah age, and perhaps they are north of the wall, and perhaps there will be some sort of cyclical ending of all of this has happened before, all of this has happened again. I feel like I've heard that phrase before.
And somehow they survived this sort of over-encompassing death of the White Walkers.
I'll say possibly. I don't think that it's impossible.
Okay, theory number 2. Arya is going to wear someone's face to kill Dany.
I'm gonna say absolutely not. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I don't think it's gonna happen. And this is one that I could be burned on. I feel like if Game of Thrones is really going for the fan service, then this is gonna happen. But I think that Game of Thrones is gonna go for something a little subtler with Arya and with Dany also.
Okay. All right. Theory number 3. This is more of an underrated theory. Sansa is going to take the throne.
Possibly. Yeah, I'd vote for her. I think Sansa's the most reasonable human being on Game of Thrones, so I would be very thrilled to see Westeros under her reign. So
if I had to change my pool halfway through, I would have put Sansa at the end.
I mean, I still think no throne, but I think Sansa in charge of the Seven Kingdoms is a pretty good bet right now. Yeah, I like that.
Theory 4. Cersei is going to climb out of the rubble of the Red Keep, find her way to Winterfell, kill Daenerys, and take the throne.
That's definitely going to happen, and you should very excitedly look out for that to happen in the series finale.
Absolutely. I'm on board with that.
That's 2 thumbs up, a hard yes.
That is the only ending that we want and expect at this point.
I'm sorry that it's not going to happen, but in our dreams, we can dream of that tonight.
How great would that be? I mean, when we talk about the unexpected of Game of Thrones, that is as unexpected as you can get.
Unexpected within reason, though. I think it's going to be hard to imagine her popping up out of, however many pounds of stone just fell upon her.
Okay, theory number 5. Everyone's gonna die and no one's gonna take the throne. And by no one, I don't mean Arya no one.
Right.
I mean really no one.
No, I don't think so. I think that this past episode, The Bells, was really the big death episode. And I think that a lot of the people that we really love are gonna be okay. Tormund has Ghost. Him and the Direwolf, they should be fine. They're far away. Sam and Gilly, they should be fine. No one's coming after Davos Seaworth because I will riot and no one wants to see me riot. I think that a lot of the characters that we love are going to be all right. And I think that the major deaths that I'm sort of braced for, Daenerys is one of them. Jon Snow is somebody who I could see us losing. And then sort of like the existential Iron Throne. But I think that for the most part, the main characters who are going to die, I think that they're probably already dead.
All right, well, we will see how all of these predictions pan out on Sunday. Josh, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Such a fun time.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. All right, guys, Game of Thrones series finale airs on Sunday night on HBO. For the Hollywood Reporter News, I'm Neha Joy.